Hello, my friends, and welcome to our first shared reading of the week. This week, we are going to explore a nonfiction text called Life at the Pond. Now, we know that pond is like a body of water, and much like other environments, there are many different plants and animals and different organisms or living creatures that live in that environment. So, this week we are going to explore some life at the pond, the different creatures that live there. And as we are doing so, I want you to keep in the back of your mind something called a food chain. You might be like, Miss Murray, what is a food chain? You might have heard it before, maybe in first grade, but a food chain is basically understanding how different animals survive, how they get the energy they need to live. Like, so plants get their energy from the sun, bugs get their energy from plants by eating those delicious leaves, frogs get it from eating the bugs, snakes from the frogs, and of course, hawks from the snakes. So we're just going to keep that in the back of our mind as we dive in and try to understand what are all the different creatures doing to survive at the pond. Life at the Pond by Bay Silverberg. The pond shines in the sun, the water is quiet. Many things live in the pond. The pond is like a small world. It is home to many plants and fish. It is home to many reptiles and other animals. So even though we can see in this photograph, it does not look like there are many different animals and things living there, but I bet if we look closer and under the surface, we will find many. Around the pond, ducks feed and play. They gobble tiny plants and dive to catch small fish. Mama duck watches her babies learn to swim. What fun! So we see that in order to survive, these little guys, they need to make sure they're eating up plants and little fish. And of course, just like us when we're kids, we like to play around. They also like to play around. Big and small birds feed by the pond. Some of them snap up flying insects. The big blue heron spears a fish and gobbles it whole. Now, we can make a connection, a text to text connection here about the perfect beak, right? So it uses that long beak to spear it, which kind of means stab it, and gobble it up, right? And we, of course, know that the big blue heron, like all other creatures, needs that food in order to survive. The top of the water is like a thin sheet. Insects skate, hop, and float on it. The water strider skates on long legs. The springtail hops across with its tail. Here we go. So I didn't know what a water strider was or a springtail, but this nonfiction text feature, this photograph, helps give me a better idea. Whirligig beetles spin on the water. They have eyes on each side to look up and down. Lily pads with pretty flowers float on top. The roots and stems are under the water, way at the bottom. Frogs begin as tiny eggs in the water. The eggs become wiggly tadpoles, and the tadpoles grow into frogs with legs. They jump in and out of the water looking for food. Right, so we can see this is still in its tadpole stage because it's got that funky looking tail on it. The bullfrog is one of the biggest frogs. He makes a big splash when he jumps in. He has a very loud croak that sounds like chugga, chugga. What is that pile of sticks in the water? Beavers have built a house for their family. When a beaver swims, it smacks the water with its tail. Smack. So we can see here, not only are animals finding food, they're also finding shelter or home. They're finding different ways to move about. So this pond serves a lot of different purposes. Turtles in the pond snap up little fish to eat. In winter, the turtles sleep down in the mud. When it gets warm, they sun themselves on a big log in the water, right? So just like we like to feel that sun on our skin, so do those turtles. Fish of many sizes and colors swim in the pond. They breathe under the water. Down in the mud, mama fish lays eggs. Later on, papa fish watches the babies. The pond is a small world where birds and fish, bugs and turtles, and many plants all live together. What a fun world! So my friends, with that, I am going to pause here. In today's lesson, you are going to be doing some reflection work, thinking about some of the relationships between these animals and the environment in which they live, the pond. And then we're going to come back on Thursday for a brand new shared reading. All right, my friends, happy writing, and I will see you very soon. Bye.